Now, what are events? The dictionary definition is an event is something that happens at a given place and time. So, when we do things like moving the mouse over some element or click on an element or press a key on the keyboard or scroll, these activities generate what are called as browser events. So, a mouse click generates a click event, or when a mouse comes over an HTML element, a mouse over event is generated, and so on. Events like page load also get generated. For example, when the HTML page loads up on the browser, a load event is fired. Alright, the important thing is that we can attach functions to these events. That is, we can say that if so and so event is generated, execute this function, and that gives us a very powerful way to make changes to the DOM in case some event occurs. For example, if a button is clicked, we can add some HTML element to a page or change the style of some element. You have already seen this kind of thing when we were talking about the this keyword. Now is the time to understand it better. JavaScript provides the add event listener method, which can register a callback function in case an event occurs. Let's open our test3.html file, and here body has an onLoad attribute using which we are calling the load function. What really happens is that when the HTML page has loaded completely on the browser, a load event is fired, which calls the load function that we have written. But instead of using this property, we can use the add event listener. So we can say window.addEventListener and pass two arguments. The first is the name of the event, which is load in this case, while the second is the function itself. So you can think about it like this, that when the load event occurs, JavaScript will execute this callback function. Alright. Now the DOM API is quite messy in terms of standards. So some JavaScript engines running on certain browsers like IE version 8 don't have this add event listener method. Rather, they have the attach event method. But we'll not get into those details in this introductory course. And most of the times people use a library like AngularJS or jQuery, which takes care of the cross-browser compatibility issues. The add event listener method is not available with the Windows object only. Rather, it is available with any HTML DOM element. For example, here the onClick property is assigned this function object. We can also use the add event listener API like this. So as you can see here, not only can we change the structure of a page, we can also change its style. Each HTML element has a style property through which we can access most of the style attributes provided by the CSS standards. Notice that the style names may not exactly be the same. For example, the actual CSS property for background color is background color with a hyphen between the two words. So be careful when you change these properties and refer online to find out what name we should use here. For most events, we can register using these kind of properties. If you see it on the console, the code completion feature shows you all these properties using which you can register a callback function when a particular event occurs.